The Harrison family's annual gathering at their sprawling estate was always an exercise in barely concealed cruelty, but this year for my father's 60th birthday, my stepmother Diana had outdone herself. The name tags at each place setting were written in her perfect calligraphy, everyone's actual names except for mine. Mine simply read, "The Disappointment." I stared at it, sitting there beside the $400 per setting china, while conversations flowed around me. My stepsister Charlotte was regaling everyone with tales of her latest successful hedge fund venture. My stepbrother Mark was discussing his recent partnership at his law firm. And I, Sophia Weber, sat quietly, wearing a simple black dress that probably cost less than the napkins, remembering how 5 years ago I'd walked away from my position at my father's investment firm to start my own company. "Oh look," Diana's voice carried across the table with practiced precision, "the disappointment is actually on time for once. Not too busy with your little, what do you call it, tech startup." I touched the sleek phone in my purse, the one running the software I'd developed, the same software that was about to revolutionize the financial industry. The same software that would make their entire business model obsolete. "Well, it's true, isn't it?" she continued, gesturing at my name tag. "Everyone else here has achieved something worthwhile. Charlotte's fund managed $200 million last year. Mark made partner. And you?" She paused for effect. "You work out of your apartment on some app." My father, William Harrison, didn't even look up from his phone. Once upon a time he'd been my hero, the brilliant financier who'd taught me everything about the market. Until Diana had convinced him that his daughter's innovative ideas were too risky for Harrison Investment Group. "Actually," I started to say, but Charlotte cut me off. "Oh God, please don't start with your technical babble again. Nobody cares about your coding or whatever it is you do in that tiny home office." If they only knew that tiny home office was actually the control center for Weber Financial Technologies, the most talked about fintech startup in Silicon Valley. The company that had just closed a deal that would change everything. My phone buzzed, a message from my CEO. "It's done. Contracts signed. You now own 51% of Harrison Investment Group's digital infrastructure. Should we implement Protocol Zero?" I looked at my name tag again, then at Diana's smug face, at Charlotte's condescending smile, at my father's continued indifference. I stood up, picking up my crystal champagne glass. The expensive crystal that Diana loved to remind me I could never afford. "I'd like to make a toast," I announced. Diana rolled her eyes. "Really, dear? Do you have to?" "Yes," I smiled, feeling the weight of the USB drive in my purse, the one containing proof of everything I was about to do. "I'd like to toast to the last time you'll ever see me." Dad finally looked up, confusion crossing his face. "Sophia, what are you talking about?" "I'm talking about choices, Dad. About seeing value in things others dismiss. About building something while others mock you." I placed a thick envelope on the table. "Consider this my parting gift. Though I don't think you're going to like what's inside." As I walked toward the door, Diana called out, "Being dramatic again? Just like your mother." I turned back one last time. "Check your phones. All of them. Especially the Harrison Investment Group ones. You might find some interesting changes." The first screams started just as I reached my car. Protocol Zero had begun. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just walking away. It's walking away with everything they thought you couldn't take. I sat in my Tesla, parked just far enough from the house to watch the chaos unfold through the floor-to-ceiling windows. One by one, phones started ringing. Charlotte was the first to understand. I saw her face go white as she frantically tried to access her hedge fund's trading platform. My software had just locked them all out. "Ms. Weber," my AI assistant's voice came through the car's speakers. "Protocol Zero is complete. Harrison Investment Group's entire digital infrastructure is now under Weber Financial's control. Would you like me to initiate Phase 2? "Not yet," I replied, watching my father finally open the envelope I'd left. Inside was a simple document, the acquisition agreement showing how I'd systematically bought up their digital assets through shell companies over the past 3 years. My phone started buzzing with messages. "Charlotte, what have you done?" "Mark, this can't be legal. I'm calling our lawyers." "Diana, you ungrateful little dash." And finally from my father, "Sophia, please. Let's talk about this." I pulled out another phone, my original one from 5 years ago. The one with the recording that had started all of this. She's just not cut out for this business, William. Diana's voice played clearly in the recording. Her ideas about algorithmic trading and digital automation would destroy everything we've built. Better to push her out now before she damages the company's reputation. But she's my daughter, my father had replied weakly. She's a disappointment. Charlotte and Mark understand how things work. Sophia wants to change everything. Do you want your legacy ruined by her crazy tech schemes? I'd recorded that conversation the day before I'd quit, the day I'd decided to prove them all wrong. Through the windows I could see Mark trying to call the firm's legal team. But they couldn't help him now. Every contract was ironclad, every acquisition legal. I'd learned from the best, after all, watching how Diana had orchestrated her own takeover of my mother's share of the company years ago. My phone buzzed again, this time from the Wall Street Journal. Ms. Weber, we'd like to confirm the rumors about Weber Financial's revolutionary AI trading platform and the acquisition of Harrison Investment Group's digital assets. Care to comment? I smiled, starting my car. The press release would go out in an hour. Weber Financial wasn't just another startup. We'd developed an AI-driven trading system that made traditional investment firms obsolete. And now we own the digital backbone of one of the biggest traditional firms in the country. Initiate Phase 2. I told my AI assistant. Immediately, every screen in the Harrison mansion would show the same message. Welcome to the future of finance. Courtesy of The Disappointment. Diana's perfect birthday party was about to become the scene of her perfect nightmare. And I hadn't even revealed my biggest surprise yet. As I drove away, I touched the locket containing the one piece of evidence I'd saved for last, proof of exactly how Diana had forced my mother out of the company. That would come tomorrow when they were already at their weakest. Sometimes revenge isn't served cold, it's served with perfect timing. The next morning I sat in my real office, the entire top floor of a downtown high-rise with a view of the city that Diana would have killed for. Screens covered one wall, showing the chaos unfolding across financial news networks. Weber Financial disrupts market with revolutionary AI trading platform. Harrison Investment Group stocks plummet as Weber takeover revealed. The new face of finance, Sophia Weber's revenge. My CFO burst in, grinning. The numbers are insane. Our system is processing trades 300% faster than any traditional platform. Harrison's clients are jumping ship by the dozens. I nodded, watching another screen showing the security feed from Harrison Investment Group's lobby. Charlotte was having a very public meltdown, screaming at security guards while trying to access the building's trading floor. But her credentials had been revoked hours ago. Ms. Weber, my assistant called through the intercom, your father is here. I straightened my Armani suit, the one I'd bought after our first billion-dollar valuation. Send him in. William Harrison looked older than he had at his birthday party just yesterday. His usual perfectly pressed suit was wrinkled, his tie loose. Sophia, he started, then stopped, taking in my office. His eyes widened at the wall of screens showing real-time trading data, at the dozens of employees working at state-of-the-art stations. This is what a little tech startup looks like, Dad, I said quietly. The one you and Diana thought was a waste of time. I had no idea. Of course not. You were too busy listening to your wife explain why traditional investment methods were the only way. How's that working out for you today? He slumped into a chair. The company is ruined. Diana's having a nervous breakdown. Charlotte's hedge fund lost half its value this morning when your AI system predicted and countered their trading algorithm. Funny how that works, I mused. Almost like someone designed a system specifically to outmaneuver their exact trading patterns. You studied us, he realized. All these years. I learned from the best, Dad. You taught me to know my opponent's weaknesses. Diana taught me to play the long game. And Mom. I pulled out the locket. Mom taught me to keep receipts. His face went pale as I opened the locket, revealing the micro SD card hidden inside. What is that? Everything, I smiled. Every email, every altered document, every backroom deal Diana made to force Mom out of the company 15 years ago. The real reason Mom left wasn't because she had a breakdown. It was because Diana threatened to destroy her reputation unless she walked away from her shares. That's not, she wouldn't. Check your email, Dad. I sent you copies of everything an hour ago, including Diana's offshore accounts where she's been hiding company funds. The SEC will get their copies this afternoon. He put his head in his hands. Why no? Why like this? I stood up, walking to the window. Look at this office, Dad. Really look. While you were all laughing at my little tech startup, I built something revolutionary. But yesterday, Diana still thought it was appropriate to label me the disappointment. So I decided to show her what disappointment really looks like. My phone buzzed. Diana was trying to access her frozen accounts. Mark was attempting to file emergency injunctions. Charlotte was giving a tearful interview claiming corporate espionage. You have a choice, I told my father. You can go down with them, or you can admit that the future of finance isn't in leather-bound portfolios and country club deals. It's in this. I gestured at my AI systems. Your choice. But make it fast. The SEC isn't known for their patience. As if on cue, breaking news flashed across the screens. SEC launches investigation into Harrison Investment Group irregularities. Sometimes revenge isn't just about winning, it's about making them realize exactly what they lost. 1 year later, I stood at a podium accepting the Financial Innovation of the Year award. The irony wasn't lost on me. It was being held in the same ballroom where Diana had once told me I'd never understand real business. Weber Financial's AI trading platform hasn't just changed the market, the presenter announced. It's revolutionized how we think about investment technology. And its founder, Sophia Weber, has shown that true innovation often comes from those willing to challenge the old guard. From my position on stage, I could see my father in the audience. He'd chosen wisely that day in my office, agreeing to help expose Diana's illegal activities in exchange for a small consulting role at Weber Financial. Now he worked in our legacy division, helping traditional firms transition to our new technology. Diana herself was serving house arrest after the SEC investigation, her designer outfits replaced by an ankle monitor. Charlotte's hedge fund had collapsed entirely. Mark had been disbarred after evidence emerged of his involvement in Diana's schemes. I'd like to thank someone special, I said into the microphone. My mother, who taught me that sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying your opponents. It's building something they can't ignore. Mom smiled from her seat next to Dad. After Diana's downfall, the truth about her forced departure had come out. She'd been reinstated to the board of the now transformed Harrison Group, which operated as a subsidiary of Weber Financial. My phone buzzed with a message from my AI system. New algorithm complete. Projected market efficiency improvement. 500%. Would you like to implement? I smiled, remembering Diana's mocking tone about my technical babble. Our latest innovation would make even our current system look primitive. And finally, I continued my speech. I'd like to thank someone who labeled me the disappointment. You taught me that other people's labels don't define us, our actions do. The audience laughed, well aware of the story that had become Wall Street legend. My name tag from that birthday party was now framed in our company museum, alongside the original code for our AI system. After the ceremony, Dad approached me holding a small package. I found this in the old house, he said quietly. It's from the day you won your first coding competition. Before Diana. Inside was a faded photo of teenage me holding a trophy with Dad beaming proudly beside me. Back when he'd believed in my vision. I was wrong, he said. To let her convince me that innovation was dangerous. To not stand up for you. You know what the real disappointment was, Dad? I asked, watching our company logo shine on the screens around us. Not me walking away from the old company. It was them being too afraid to walk toward the future. My phone buzzed again. Weber Financial stock had just hit another all-time high. Our AI system had just predicted and prevented a major market downturn, saving clients billions. Ms. Weber, my assistant approached. Diana's attorneys have requested another meeting. They're offering to reveal more offshore accounts in exchange for leniency. I smiled, thinking of the name tag that had started it all. Tell them, the disappointment is too busy revolutionizing finance to deal with the past. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just proving them wrong, it's becoming so right that they can't look away. 5 years after the award ceremony, I stood in my old childhood bedroom at the Harrison estate. The house had been transformed into the Weber Institute of Financial Innovation, where we trained the next generation of fintech developers. Diana's old office, where she'd once plotted my downfall, was now the main AI development lab. Charlotte's precious legacy trading floor had become a quantum computing center. Everything they'd mocked as technical babble now powered a trillion-dollar revolution in finance. "Ms. Weber," my AI assistant chimed, "they're ready for the announcement." In the grand ballroom, where I'd once been seated at the far end of the table as the disappointment, hundreds of young innovators gathered. Each wore a name tag that read, "The Future." 5 years ago, I began my speech. Someone thought a name tag could define me. Today we're redefining the entire financial world. Our latest AI system doesn't just trade stocks. It predicts and prevents global economic crises before they happen. My mother, now heading our ethical innovation department, smiled from the front row. Next to her, my father beamed with genuine pride, the kind no country club membership could buy. Diana watched the live stream from her modest apartment, her house arrest finally over but her reputation permanently shattered. Charlotte had ironically found work as a junior coder at a small startup. Mark had reinvented himself teaching business ethics, a twist that still made me laugh. But the real victory, I continued, touching the old disappointment name tag I still kept in my pocket, isn't in proving critics wrong. It's in showing future generations that labels don't limit us, they motivate us. I unveiled our newest initiative, a global scholarship program for overlooked innovators, funded by the very profits that Diana had once called impossible. My phone buzzed with breaking news. Weber Financial becomes first quadrillion-dollar company. As applause filled the room, I looked around at what the disappointment had built. Not just a company but a revolution. Not just revenge but renaissance. The future, I concluded, belongs to those who dare to disappoint the past. In the end, the greatest disappointment wasn't me. It was how small their vision had been. And that was the sweetest revenge of all.